tell us about which train you were traveling in, and how did the incident occur?
So I was traveling in the Coromandel Express from Kolkata up to Cuttack, which is my hometown. And we boarded the train at around 3:20 in the afternoon. And this particular incident occurred at around 6:30 in the evening. So I was situated at the very end of the train at the last in the last coach. And what we heard was a huge bang, and after that followed by emergency brakes being applied, jerking movements. So we thought there had been some kind of an accident, and that's why we had to disembark from the coach. So we hurriedly took all our valuables. We were just trying to disembark and see what exactly had happened. When we opened the doors of the coach, what we see is three coaches derailed and lying on the other side of the track. So we could not make out if these three coaches are of our train or of another train. There are around 200, 250 people around those areas from the start coming out of those coaches. They talked to us, they asked for help. There a lot of chaos there, a lot of cries for help. So we found out from those people that they were passengers of the Yaswantpur Superfast Express, which was traveling from Yaswantpur to Howrah. So at this time, we understood that okay, this incident has involved two trains. Now, while trying to help these people, we at that the local peoples also gathered in about 5-10 minutes. They were really helpful. They did a commendable job. The locals, all the other co-passengers who were not hurt, they also came in to help. Made makeshift bandages from bed sheets, from blankets, trying to help those bandaged people, because all these people they had cuts on their faces, on their arms, and everything, bloody situation, fractures, and everything. And at this moment of time, we expected the authorities to come. So we heard the first siren of the ambulance, and we were just waiting for the ambulance to come towards us. But what we see is that the ambulance was moving away from us towards the front of the Coromandel Express. At this point of time, let me tell you, because our coach was not damaged, we thought that not much had happened to the Coromandel Express. Okay, from our point of view. Now, when the ambulances started moving away from us, we tried to, a few of us wanted to go and talk to these ambulances, see what exactly is happening. So we moved a little bit towards the front of the train. So let me tell you, we were at the very end. Coromandel has about 17, 18 coaches. So we started passing all those coaches to the front. What we see is train coaches and the engine of Coromandel all toppled one above the other at a height of about 3 or a 4-story building. And we were really put into a horrific situation. We saw bodies lying across. We saw very, blood on the roads, on the tracks totally broken, live wires of the train broken and hanging at a very low height. So at this point of time, we understood, okay, no, our train has also entered into an accident. So we tried to help those people in our train. Now, this, let me tell you, it was actually a really chaotic situation. So when we were trying to move ahead, we saw headless bodies, bodies without arms, without limbs, people who have been severed from the bottom down, from the waist, fractures, weird fractures, people not understand, not being able to understand what they are doing. Now, little children crying for help, mothers looking around for the babies. So these were the coaches that were on the front of the Coromandel Express. So these included 2 general compartments. After that, about 8 to 9 sleeper coaches and 3 to 4 third-tier AC coaches. So our coach was probably the only coach that had not gone any damage. All other coaches had their lights off. The lights were off. That was a very tricky situation because you see, it was evening. It was late evening. It was almost dark, and people did not know what to do. They all of a sudden they are scared. They're afraid. Families looking for each other, not understanding what to do. And we even saw some bodies flying across, almost landing at 30, 40 meters away from the railway track. At this point of time, we understood that no, the incident actually involved 3 trains. So what happened is the Coromandel Express derailed due to some reason. It hit a goods train, which was situated in the loop track, which is an inactive track that is used for parking. It hit the goods train. The coaches of the goods train, or probably the engine of the Coromandel Express, then slid towards the nearby railway track and hit the ongoing Yeshwanthpur Express. So at this point of time, we did not know what to do, because you see people coming out of coaches who either do not have an arm, have bloodied eyes, not knowing what to do. We did not have as much resources. We just waited for authorities. By this time, I had made a call to the emergency services, and I also had called the railway protection force. Two of my friends who were in coaches, my co-passengers, they had also informed the local authorities. So the local authorities and emergency services like the ambulance and police, they started trickling down at about 7:30. So it was almost an hour after the incident. Okay. But as soon as they came, they started working very swiftly, made sure everyone was taken care of. There was a particular road connecting the highway to this particular incident place. Okay. That was really fortunate that this incident occurred at a populated area. So we had road connectivity. That particular service road was converted into a green corridor only for the emergency cars to come in.
Okay.
That probably was a little bit helpful. If this had occurred in a no man's area, we probably would have waited 2-3 hours for any type of help.
Okay. So your coach was thankfully not affected, right? And all your fellow passengers, they escaped unhurt, thankfully. Yeah. So how did you manage to come out of the place then? Where did you go? How was it?
See, at this point of time, I'm talking about an hour or an hour and a half after the incident. At that point of time, we only wanted to make sure that people were okay, and we were also looking out for options as well as to where to go. We started asking locals, how can we go to the nearest city? See, this is a place where the incident occurred, is about 20 kilometers away from Balesur. Okay, Balesur is one major city. And after this, the next major city would have been Bhadra, which was the next stoppage for this train. That was 40 kilometers away. Okay. So we had to make sure we needed road connectivity, we needed to get into buses and stuff. At this point of time, the district magistrate came in, made sure all bus services in those areas sent their buses only for the flying of these passengers, so that area could be evacuated, and people who were not that fatally injured would be taken away to the nearest city, that they could continue the journey. Because there are many people who are going from Howrah to, say, Kolkata, Howrah to Chennai, Howrah to even Vijayawada. So those people had to go to the nearest place. So I left that place at around 10:30 at night. Okay. It was almost 1 kilometer walk to the nearest highway. And by that time, I had called my family. My father, who is the journalist for the Hindu, for Cuttack, he had made arrangements of a car, and he was already on his way to that particular incident place. So my home is about 3 hours away from that incident. Yeah.
So in your post, you also say that you have yourself seen more than 250 bodies there.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that particular thing is in the first 1 or 2 hours of the incident. Okay, so when we are trying to help people and go and see exactly what had happened to find out what exactly the gravity of the situation is, I myself saw about 200 bodies strewn all across, because there were bodies. Even local people were saying bodies were strewn 50 meters away from the train. You see, in all this general and sleeper coaches, there people tend to stand on the doorway. Okay? So the impact was so strong, these people were catapulted away from the train track, landing about 40-50 meters away. Yeah. And there are even bodies that were disfigured up to that extent that you can see clots and only pieces of flesh and blood. Okay? All train tracks bloodied, and the people just lying there, being disfigured, weird orientation. So I myself, in the first 2 hours, we saw about 200 to 50 bodies. So now I understand that the death toll has reached something around 250 or 300, as the local news channel said. But I'm really sorry to say that the death toll definitely crossed 500. Yeah, because all those people, those who have been taken to the hospitals with severed arms and limbs, most of them it's very difficult to say. They won't make it because hospitals are overflowing. Yeah. And it is also more about the shock that has got. I saw a man of about 40-45 years of old. Both his ankles were severed. Okay. And we were carrying him to the nearest ambulance. When he saw all these dead bodies, he fainted right there. So it is more of a shock to people, and that is resulting in a lot of deaths. And even there are even bodies that were about to be evacuated from all those toppled coaches. That has been completed, I guess, till now. Cranes were there to make sure the coaches were brought down. So the evacuation is still going on. Let's hope that the dead toll doesn't reach that far.
Okay. Ananya, you wanted to say something?
So I wanted to know that did you get the feeling that did your train engage or crash with the coaches of the other train, or you crashed? Was it a head-on with the loop line goods train?
Okay. See, the thing is, because it was night and we could not really make out what was going on. The train tracks were all disfigured. At that point of time, you don't really understand what happened.
Sure.
Your first instinct there is to either help people or get out of there safely. Now that we are safe, we are trying to help people. But what I gathered from locals who saw, because we are at the last, we did not see anything. Okay. What I gathered from locals or the railway authorities that came in at the later stage, they said that the Coromandel hit the goods train. Okay. See, this is not confirmatory. I just am telling you whatever I have heard.
No, I'm not looking for a confirmation from you. I just, because you were at the spot, you would get a first hand.
So what might have happened is Coromandel hit the goods train. First, the Coromandel derailed due to some reason, hit the goods train, and either the goods train or coaches of the Coromandel collided with the ongoing Yeshwanthpur Express. Okay, because the Yeshwanthpur Express, only the last 3 coaches were derailed. Other coaches with the engine are almost 600-700 meters behind us, which had gone ahead. So you see, this might have been an incident, and because the coaches of Coromandel are not lying on the other track, that's why I think it is probably the coach of the goods train, or probably the engine of Coromandel that created this collision.
Okay.
Anubhav, can you tell us about yourself? Do you take this train often? What do you do? Tell me about yourself.
I actually I'm doing my PhD right now. I'm a PhD research scholar in geology and climate change studies. Okay, so my field work is in the Sundarban mangrove forest. So I travel there very frequently, almost say 4 to 5 times a year. There every 2 to 3 months to collect samples, soil samples, even gas samples. So I was returning from the Sundarbans. I came back to Kolkata, returning back home. I take any train that is available. So this is I wouldn't say that the Coromandel was the only train of choice for me. I would come back in any train available. Fortunately for me, when I was booking the tickets, I was very, very fortunate that only one ticket of the first AC was available when I was booking the tickets. And I was so fortunate you won't believe, I was in the last coach and the last seat of this coach of the train. Okay, behind me was only the guards coach. So that probably is a blessing in disguise, I would say. And this feels really like a miracle, man. At that moment at night, you don't really realize what is happening. But when I wake up and when I saw, or today in the morning, I saw all these people in channels, it feels like a rebirth of sorts.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
So I want to ask a question. Hi Anubhav, this is Shreya. So I would like to ask that what was the lag time in between the accident taking place and the rescue team reaching the spot? Like, were you satisfied with the facilities and arrangements provided to the people, to the victims over there? What could have been better as per you?
Yeah, you see, this is a place which is in a very, say, I wouldn't call it remote place. but this is between two headquarters or a bigger districts. Okay, so for authorities to be able to arrange logistics, to be able to bring in, because they first have to understand what the situation is, to bring in emergency services like the fire or the ambulances. It takes time, correct? Yes, the response time could have been lesser because they reached the DM and the SP, they reached about an hour later, probably an hour and a half after the incident. Okay, this could have been earlier, but when I say this, that the authorities, as soon as they came, they were swift in their action. Okay, I even would like to commend the Ministry of Railways that they made sure arrangements were made for the people traveling to far off places like Chennai. Okay. And they made sure that by about 9:30, we were getting calls from Howrah, from Kolkata Railways, asking us if we are okay or not, how many people are there with us. They were trying to gather as much information as they could. Okay. But there's one more thing I'd like to add here. See, these Coromandel Express or the Yeshwanthpur, these are major trains carrying a lot of passengers. And I understand these are, both of them are LHB rakes, which is advanced as of now. This particular track was also renovated recently. Okay. So even after this, if an incident has occurred, we really need to investigate just for the sake of all those 300, 400 people who have lost their lives, for their family members. We need to understand what exactly has gone on. And if there is any case of a sabotage, those miscreants need to be found out. Because you see, a train like Coromandel Express just derailing out of nowhere is no small thing. Okay, it's not a matter of joke. So you need to, the investigation has to be really, really stringent. And I really hope they get to the bottom of this matter.
All right. Thank you so much, Anubhav. Thank you. Thank you for speaking to us. And we're glad that you're okay, fortunate enough to.
Thank you so much, Sanjha. Thank you.
Unscathed. Thank you so much. Thank you.